I've come up to Birmingham today. There was a group called the Freedom Gathering, and I reached out to one of the organisers and was welcome to come up. So I'm responsible for doing some outreach programs for basically for this group, so Stand Up. So today we were doing an outreach program for Stand Up Birmingham, because the Stand Up in London, who were the original stand-ups, by the way. So Stand Up themselves started way back in April. A very small group of people, like-minded souls, got together, agreed on a common enemy, and then realised that uniting and not dividing was the way forward. And they just couldn't live the way, they couldn't accept what was going on. So they did exactly what human beings do. They made a decision and they put a plan into action, very loose plan. And that was when Stand Up was born, and that started in London, and there's been about 17-18 protests. The majority of the original protests, the very first ones, were brutal. The police were not good, very vicious. As other protests kicked off, the police realised that our peaceful, lawful protests were nothing like those other ones. So the police basically relaxed off, and we had liaison officers, police officers actually helping our protests, working and protecting our protest. So now the protest template has been galvanised in London thanks to the tireless effort of the people working behind the scenes. People that are not looking for fame, they're not full of ego. These guys honestly work 24/7. They don't get paid, there's no income for them. They do it in between jobs, multiple jobs that they have. And they work tirelessly, guys, tirelessly. And they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for the future. The future, the great-great-grandchildren that aren't born yet. That's what it's about, because the world we live in right now, if this is how it's going to be now, this is not nice, this is not comfortable. Think of their world in the future. You got to stand up. Hence why they're in. We've got to stand up, stand together, unite, not divide. The tool they use is divide and conquer.
Wow.
And they've been dividing us for so many years.
For so many years, isn't it?
So many years. And it's a beautiful tool, because in the end, what it comes down to, you divide yourself from other people, from other races, religions, age, class, gender. And when you start dividing yourself, you realise that you're a multiple layered bunch of labels. And all those labels then make you divided. Because then you go, well, I'm a dad, but I'm also a son. I'm this, but I'm that religion. On that colour skin, and you realise you're divided even more. But it's about unifying yourself, unifying yourself. Once you unify yourself, you can start unifying other people, because you see past their differences and you see the commonality in other people. And when you realise together we have common enemies, and you know, even if your angle, I don't know, say it's your angle's the Bilderberg group, if that means anything to you, but my angle is basically human rights, then we can both look at our common enemy right up the chain and realise we've got the same enemy. So okay, what you do is different to what I do, but we've got the same enemy. Okay, well, let's unite, not divide. Let's stand shoulder to shoulder with our sisters and brothers, and we can take them down. We can unify, we can cut them off at source, we can strangle these people at the source, we can take away their food, their currency. And when we do that, they starve. They have no choice but to collapse. And Rome collapsed, Egypt collapsed, Phoenicians collapsed, Sumerian collapsed, all these big empires collapsed. And right now is the beginning of the end for these big illustrious so-called elites. I don't call them the elites. I call them the scared little families, because they're scared. They're so scared of us uniting. The society coming together as a group of the 99%. They're so scared of that they live in constant fear. And the way that they send that message out is to make us scared, because that fear paradigm, they love it. They live in it. They don't understand about unity, joy, pleasure, fun, love. They don't understand about it. And because of that, they don't live in our realm. They control the fear realm. As long as we infringe on that realm, they can control us. They can separate us through fear.
We've heard about like Bill Gates and George Soros, and
this goes on. But these guys, from my take on that, if you know their name and you can see their face, they're not the people you need to be concerned about.
It's
the ones that's
behind the scenes.
If you think about secret societies, you've got MI5, MI6, you have the KGB, the CIA. Those aren't the real secret societies, guys. They're not secret agencies, because you know their names. They can't be secret. The real secret's probably like Boston Library Services or something. That'll be the name. If that's real, I don't know. But the idea is that they're hidden in plain sight. These corrupt individual companies, corporations, funded by these scared little families. And these scared little families, they infight as well, guys. But they do unite on something. Fear power, control, greed and distraction. These are their tools. And they try and distract us through fear. They try and control us through tools like money and slavery, laws, legality. Thank you. Take care, guys. That's okay, thank you too.
It's very interesting that you're saying that, because there's a lot of people that ain't woke, so to speak, and there's a lot of people that's falling victim to actually what's going on, and they feel like what these philanthropists, so to speak, are doing is a good job, and we all know, do you know what I mean, that they're not doing a good job.
This has got very good marketing. Remember, the corporations that control the media, they're the same people that are controlled right up the top to these, you know, these scared little families. I mean, these families don't even care about money because they print it. The concern's not money. Money's our issue. This is the system we live in. This is a slavery tool.
Yeah.
But there is a way to work around that, a different currency. But that's neither here nor there right now. Uniting the people, getting enough people on board, enough percentage of the nation. We only need about 5% of the nation. 5% to basically stand together. 5% is nothing, guys. The French Revolution was about 3.3% of the whole country, and they took over a whole country. They collapsed the whole country, and, you know, and reinvented it. But you know, it's about unifying ourselves and unifying our brothers and our sisters, our neighbours, our loved ones, our families, our friends, our strangers. You know, meeting strangers and then leaving as friends. It's a powerful time, guys. And the great thing about now is what I found is the people that are awoke, the ones that understand this stuff, are so much easier to find now. Because before you talk to people, they'll think you're nuts, and it's very hard to navigate and find like-minded people, like-minded souls. Now, they're so easy because they're already out the trenches. Their heads are out the trenches. You can see them. You see them online. You see them on social media. You hear names. So they're so much easier to find.
Yeah.
And because of that, this time now is a beautiful time to be in. As much as it might seem like it's a negative time, it's actually a very beautiful time.
Of course.
You know, these shadow workers, their world's getting smaller because this is the light ages. We lived in the dark ages, we've gone through the dark ages and the light ages now, which means the shadows get smaller. So the people working in the shadows are out of the shadows now in the light, but they're getting brave. They think they're getting brave, but they're not.
Yeah.
All their actions are coming undone. We know we've got citizen journalists that are going out there and sending information out. Of course, they use social media platforms and stuff, and it gets taken down. You know, if it gets taken down, you know they're speaking some truth.
Exactly, especially when it's been about this COVID-19. You've been saying a lot of stuff, and then next thing you know, I've seen videos that's, you know, from doctors and nurses that's been saying truth.
We had doctors here today. We had Dr. Adil. We had who's the guy, Jason, someone who's doing a talk. There's loads of people. We've got whistleblowers. We call them whistleblowers. People just speaking the truth. They're explaining about how biology works, virology, medicine, care homes, all the mandates that were going through from the pharmaceutical companies right through to the healthcare systems. And they were saying the sort of real dark stuff that was going on about removing medication from people, which causes their body to go into like a detox, a cold turkey, which damages their immune system. You're meant to do that slowly. And they're doing that in care homes. Go send testing, saying they've got COVID, we've got to put them into this. And anyway, I don't want to repeat the talks.
No, definitely. But what I'd say then is, what's your future goals going forward? Like, what would you say is the number one goal
right now?
Right
now is numbers. That's the main thing. We've got phases 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. However, phase 1, we're still in phase 1, and phase 1 was the protest. The protests now have been galvanised. We have a template. We're using that template across all the cities across the United Kingdom. Once we can get the cities established, they can start going wide and wide and reaching out to smaller cities and smaller and large towns. Once they can start bringing those numbers together, we can start doing protests on the same days. So then every city has their own protest. We're making so much noise, guys. The mainstream media can't ignore us. StandUpX have already made it now. They've already popped up. The exponential curve went boom. You know, they're on the Daily Mail. There's stuff going on Twitter. There's stuff going on the newspapers. You can't ignore us anymore. I mean, they control the narrative. There's no such thing as bad publicity. No such thing as bad publicity. And people look at it and go, well, who are StandUpX? Bang, find out who we are. And they go, well, I'm annoyed about this. That group looks cool, and they join. So thank you, mainstream media. You're doing our job for us. If you go to Birmingham Stand Up on Facebook, this one, you also got here. So we've got the, hang on, where's the, if you go on to this one, StandUpX, that's the website. So this is the website. So Birmingham were established today, as of today. We've got the protest. So we've got a protest next weekend in Manchester. There's also one in Liverpool on the same day, 22nd. There's a dual, Liverpool and Manchester. Leeds on the 23rd. London the 29th. That's going to be a big headliner list of doctors, nurses, whistleblowers, basically from the medical system coming out with their truths. And the 30th in Bristol is going to be a protest of a different kind.
Right.
It's going to be a big, Bristol is going to be an amazing event.
Okay.
That's got a lot of stuff, and we've got a secret speaker coming to Bristol as well. Not obviously secret. And then this one is obviously the one for Birmingham.
Yeah.
So stand up, we've got 5 groups, all unifying. The People's World Council, I'm not sure of that group. StandUpX, Free the Children UK and Save Our Children UK.
Yeah.
And this is protecting the children, because this is what it's about. Right?
Yeah, that's what it's exactly what it's about. I mean, we can get deep in terms of the royal family and how far it goes back with Prince Andrew and all that stuff. It's another story.
What I found, I was talking to someone online, and they were telling me all this stuff, and I said, and they were sending me stuff. I said, you do realise it's all distraction stuff? And they said, what do you mean? I said, when did you kind of like wake up? And they're like, well, a couple of months ago. And I'm like, okay, so when you're coming out of a dark slumber, and all this information, this disinformation is out there, it distracts you from the actual truth as well. And it's finding people that have been in this sort of realm for a long time. And I'm 23 years in, by the way, guys. And not through choice, through circumstantial. I was put into corners of my life and I had no choice but to fight my way out. Right. And I've done the legal systems and all the different educational systems, and I've fought my way out and learned and taught myself about opening my mind through legalese and through the courts, and now I realised I've become autonomous to myself. So when this all happened, my world just went, this is amazing, this is my time now. So I'm actually, right now I'm surfing a massive wave to me. This is my field. But these are the other socials as well.
Right.
So StandUpX on YouTube, Instagram, StandUpX on Twitter. And you've also got the StandUpX website, and then you've got the Manchester Leeds. So basically choose the name and put StandUpX after it.
Well. So
if you want to find out ones in your city, just type in the city, go onto Facebook and type it in.
Excellent.
And we've got ones in Scotland. That's going to be on the 5th, the 6th of September. Hampshire's just been unified of last week. It's Bournemouth, Southampton, Andover and Winchester all on board. Birmingham, where we are. And Wales as well. We've got a big following in Wales at the moment. We've yet to get some of these places back on the map as of like a protest, but it's all going to be done.
Yeah, man.
It just takes time. We haven't got money, so we're just doing it off the back of the cuff on a shoestring budget.
But I'll do whatever I can to obviously upload it, make sure that's promoted well.
Yeah, please
and
share it on share it on the Birmingham.
I've done
Definitely
live today. You've been on live stream everywhere, man. I've had that many people. Saying that's why I've been in the front there. You've been there, man.
If I just like prefix it with the reason why I want to at least help others see. I'm not going to try and do anything forceful that's going to turn them off. No. I just have love for me and mine, but it does go beyond that. I do want to protect the people around me. You got to do what you can, but I also have great sympathy and care for all who exist and all who are going to exist, because we're facing one hell of a poo show.
It is, It's a circus.
Yes.
And we've got front row seats, guys. You can either sit down and eat your popcorn, or you can jump up and get involved.
Splash some people.
Yeah, that's it. Most people are just wandering by like they're sat watching the circus unfold. They haven't got a clue that it's actually the damage.
It's great to hear someone actually also talk about how whatever secret societies are talking about. It's like, well, they're in cloaks. They're having their meetings. They're finding ways to discuss how they're going to change the world of hip hop, for instance. How they're going to change the world
control the music, TV. They
hijack the world of spirituality. Hijack the world.
It's a spiritual war.
Whatever.
It's a spiritual war. This when it comes down to it, when you get right to the nitty gritty, you want to simplify and make it efficient. It's a spiritual war, and they're controlling the pineal gland in your mind. Sorry. Go.
No. I like what you're saying.
It's a spiritual.
Please save a couple of seconds on this, because we should have the spiritual element enter into it, whether people like it or not.
Yes.
You should mention it, and if they don't like that section, they can turn away if they're not ready for this kind of talk. It's going to be down to the
put it that way. Let's say it's a war on your mind, then, guys. It's a war on the mind. If you want to know about how the mind works, the amygdala, the pineal gland is one of the major points. And if you just want to understand what happens to the pineal gland when you drink tap water, chloride, it calcifies your pineal gland. This is what causes things like dementia, Alzheimer's. It just causes massive issues. Okay, food corrupts it as well. So the way it corrupts your hormones, the way it changes the way it changes the format of the brain, this stuff, and this isn't by accident, guys. You can't find me on Facebook. Earl as in Earl Grey tea and Jesse as in Jesse James. Maybe that's part of my. He stood up against the government, didn't he? He stood up against the railway companies that were funded by corrupt corporations. Maybe the Jesse's in part of that. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can't find me on Facebook through that name, but if you go on Facebook, my name is Lorde, with an E on the end, L-O-R-D-E, and then Earl. And the picture is the Joker, and you'll see a little caption next to it. Because I like the Joker, most people don't, they think he's a bad guy. He's about chaos with the order. And the order that comes in from the corrupt politicians and the corrupt corporations and scared little families, he's about tearing it apart, but not doing it methodically. He's about breaking it up and not being consistent, not being regular. He's about all that stuff, and he's not in it for the money, is he?
No.